give this light bulb a shadow. To do that, I want to go here and create a new layer. And then I'm going to go to the elliptical marquee tool, and I'm going to draw a circle here. And then with my paint tool, my paintbrush, I'm going to make this black. And then I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and then this makes it fuzzy. Now to deselect, I'm going to hit Control D. And now to soften that, I'm going to change the opacity to about 50. So now my light bulb has some shadow. And now I'm going to bring in my first image. I'm going to bring in my water image. Okay, I'm going to click and drag it. Cool. So I have my ocean over my light bulb. So I'm going to resize it. I'm going to do Control T to free transform. Oh, it's quite a big image. Now to see how it's matching up with the light bulb, I'm going to change the opacity down right now to about 50. And then I'm going to make a layer mask. The layer mask is crucial because it is non-destructive. That way I can go in and continue editing this original image without ruining it and starting over. So to make a layer mask, I want to go to this button down here, add layer mask. I want to make sure it's selected, and then I'm going to click the paintbrush. And right now I have black selected, and with black I'm just removing. And I'm making sure that I have a soft brush because that will make it a more gradual selection, a gradual mask. So right now I have the brush size pretty large because I'm just making general cuts. Okay, now I'm going to make my brush pretty small. Okay. Da, da, da. And then say if I made a mistake like that, I would have to maybe start over, but instead, since I'm making a mask, I can just paint with white. And now I'm going back into black so I can continue to remove part of this image. I'm going to remove the clouds. Okay, so now it's looking pretty good, but I don't really necessarily love this color. So I'm going to change this by going to layer adjustments. And the major difference between the layer adjustments and this idea of up here going to image adjust, if I go up here and do image adjustments and I change it here, it's going to be destructive. I won't be able to go back. I can't edit it at all. So doing adjustment layers gives you greater control and flexibility over image edits than direct adjustments. You can make non-destructive adjustments to the color and tones in your image and keep editing the adjustment layers without permanently changing the pixels in your image. And if you want to become a Photoshop master, this is just what you have to do. So you go down here, and then I'm going to choose Hue Saturation. And then if you see here, if I change the hue and saturation, it's changing the whole light bulb. But I want to only affect the water. So to do that, to only affect the bottom layer, what do? I make a clipping mask. So you can use clipping mask in your layer adjustments. Great. Okay, so now that I have that, I want to add some fishes, little fishies. So I'm going to find that image. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it in. It's wildly too big. So I'm going to zoom out and hit Command T, free transform. You can do that also in edit, free transform as well. And now I'm going to resize it a lot. Okay, let's see. Now I'm not going to use this whole parade of fishes. I'm just going to use 2 of these little fishies. Okay, now to make a selection so I don't have all of these fish, I'm going to go to the lasso tool up here, and I'm going to make a lasso selection around these 2. Yeehaw, right? Okay, so, oops, I got too excited. So yeah, I'm going to make a lasso selection around these 2 fish images. And then I'm going to right click and hit layer via copy. And then I'm going to turn off this fish layer, and now I just have this one. Okay, so now I'm going to adjust this so the fish look like they're existing in this light bulb, because that makes sense. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to change the opacity of the fish layer to about 75. Now that I'm looking at the fish with the water, I'm actually going to change the saturation and hue. And luckily, I have made this layer adjustment, so it's easy for me to go in there and fix. Okay, so now I'm going to add in the splash. So I'm going to go to File, Open. I'm going to find find the splash image. Here it is. I'm going to Control A and bring it in. I'm going to bring it into the right one. Okay, here it is. Okay, I'm going to make it smaller. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm going to change the blend modes to overlay, and I'm going to bring it down to about 80%. Let's see. Now, just like the last time, in order to remove the unnecessary parts of the image, I am going to make a layer mask. Now, to do that, I'm going to press this button here. I'm going to make sure the layer mask is selected here, because if the image is selected, then I'm just going to paint with black, and that's no good. So I want to make sure the image is selected. I'm going to go to the brush tool, and I'm going to start removing parts of the image. And as I'm editing, I can change the bracket size. Now I think this is looking really good, but I want to make it more colorful. And now to do that, I'm going to go back to the layer adjustments, and I'm going to go to vibrance. I'm going to make sure it's at the top. Now I'm not doing a clipping mask for this because I want the whole image to be vibrant. So I'm going to do it about 50%. Okay, so I think this is looking really good. Now, the last step, I want to create a shadow underneath. The last step, I want to create a reflection. Now, to create a reflection, I could merge all of these layers together, but I'm going to do Control Alt A and E. Right. So that creates a merged layer. And now with my merged layer, I am going to Control T, flip vertically. I'm going to change the opacity. Down a little bit more. And then hit enter. Now I want to erase this line. Okay, now you're done with your light bulb.